Hey guys, it's Tanika and welcome back to my channel. Guess what is finally here? It's part 2 of the ultimate Priceline shopping guide for fair skin. If you missed it, I have teamed up with the beautiful Arna Alayne here on YouTube, and we have come up with the ultimate shopping guides from 2 of Australia's leading makeup stores, Priceline for drugstore and Mecca Maxima for high-end. And in these videos, we are letting you know the must-have items that you need to try if you have fair skin. So in part 1, we discussed base products, primers, foundations, concealers, and powders. If you missed that, I will have it linked down below, of course. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about everything else. So we've got contour, bronzer, blush, highlight. I've got some nude lipsticks to talk about, and a few eyeshadows that I'm going to chuck in. Once you finished watching my video, be sure to go and check out Arna's. As I said, she is doing the ultimate guide to Mecca Maxima. So if you're after some new high-end products, she's got the list for you. Make sure you give her channel some love as well. She makes amazing content, she uploads frequently, and she is just a beautiful person on the inside and out. Alright, well, let's just get into the video. Alright, starting out with some contouring products. The first one I'm going to talk about is an absolute classic. If you've got fair skin, I'm sure you would have heard of this. This is the NYX Blush in the shade Taupe. So as you can see, this is quite a deep, cool toned brown, and it has a bit of a grey undertone to it. So it works perfectly for contouring on fair skin. This shade is quite deep to what I usually use, so you definitely only have to go in with a light hand, but it is the perfect shade to really create that shadow on the cheeks and leave a nice contoured look. As I said, this shade is really pigmented, so if you're a beginner, I probably wouldn't start with this one because it can go wrong quite quickly if you don't use a light hand. But a thing to remember when it comes to contouring for fair skin is that it doesn't have to be a specific product aimed at contouring. Because we want something that is a little more cool toned, kind of that grey brown colour, look out for eyeshadows and different blushes because they tend to work best. One that I actually don't have in my collection, but Arna says is a fantastic option, is an eyeshadow by Rimmel in the shade All About the Base. I just cannot find this in Priceline, so I am on the hunt. I'm definitely going to pick this up, but from what I've seen, it's lighter than the NYX Blush, so a little bit easier to work with if you're just beginning. The next product I have is actually in a contour kit. And I don't usually buy these contour kits because, let's be real, I'm gonna get use out of like 1 or 2 shades. So why would I buy an entire kit? But this one here is the Revlon Sculpt and a Highlight Contour Kit that was in collaboration with Chloe Morello. Now there were 2 released. You've got light medium, which is what I have, and then I'm pretty sure there was like a medium dark. But the contour shade in this kit is absolutely spot on. Again, it's that cool toned browny grey colour, but this one is a lot lighter than the NYX Blush. So it is quite easy to work with, and it leaves a really nice chiseled contoured effect on the cheeks. So this is the contour shade from the kit, and this is the NYX Blush. So as you can see, there is quite a difference in the shades there. Now, as I just said, I don't usually like buying kits because it is a waste of money if I'm not using all the shades. I'm not a huge fan of these 2 shades. The banana it just doesn't work for my skin tone. It's no. And this highlight, it does work, but it's a little bit chalky. It's not my favorite. But these 2 shades, the bronzer here, which you can see is a lot warmer, and then the contour here, which is more cool toned, work absolutely great for fair skin, and the formula is really easy to work with as well. So even though I'm not going to be using 2 shades out of the 4, I still think that it's worth the price because this is probably the best contour shade that I found at Priceline. And then if you're into cream contouring, I have one here by NYX. This is the Sculpt and Highlight Face Duo in the shade Taupe and Ivory, and this color is just is good. So this is what it looks like swatched on the back of my hand. As you can see, it is a cool toned brown, but it doesn't really have that grey undertone like the other 2 powders that I just showed you. Even though it doesn't have that grey undertone as well, it still works super well on fair skin for chiseling out those cheekbones. I find the formula of this is really easy to work with too. It doesn't pull off your foundation. That's the one thing that really irks me about cream contouring, is sometimes I go to blend it out and it just lifts up my foundation. Like, what's that about? So this one, because it's super liquidy, it just blends really easily out with your sponge and leaves a really nice contoured look. And just a side note, the shade on the other end is really good too. Here we have the contour swatches. So this one is the NYX Blush. Here we have the contour shade from the Revlon palette. And this here is the Cream Contour by NYX. Now onto bronzers. I have 4 here that I want to talk about. And for me, I think that bronzers are quite a hard product to find at the drugstore when you've got fair skin. A lot of the bronzers are very orange toned and that just doesn't work. I'm after something that is a little more cool but still does a good job at warming up my complexion. I'm going to start off with an absolute favorite of mine that I have been using for I don't know how long, and I have been recommending it for I don't know how long, and this is the Rimmel and Kate Moss little trio. Look, I don't know what they're called. It's like a little sculpting trio, you know, you've got your highlighter, your contour, and your blush. But anyway, I'm pretty sure there were 2 of these released, and this one is 002 Coral Glow. Now this shade in here is labeled as a contour, and for anyone with a light to medium skin tone, that probably works really well for them. But for someone like me who has ultra fair skin, it is the perfect bronzer shade. And it also has a little bit of a shimmer in it, so I personally wouldn't use it as a contour anyway. I want something matte for contouring. You know what I mean? Now when you swatch this, it does feel a little bit chalky. It's not the most smooth, buttery formula I've ever come across, but on the skin it performs so well. As I said, it is just that perfect shade for bronzing, and it leaves the most beautiful sheen on the skin. This is literally one of my favorite bronzers that I own within my entire collection. I use it so often and I still haven't even hit pan. This entire little trio is actually really great, and I will talk about the blush and the highlighter when I get to those categories. But if you're after a bronzer from Priceline, I definitely recommend picking up this one first because it is just... The next bronzer is also by Rimmel, and this one is the Sun Shimmer Bronzer in Light Matte. Now, let's just take a moment here. It's called Sun Shimmer, but it's light matte. So despite the title, this is actually a matte bronzer, and this one is also one of my favorites. It is a little lighter than the bronzer in the trio. I'll just compare them for you. And again, it has quite a chalky feel to it when you swatch it, but once applied to the skin, it just looks so beautiful. The color is absolutely perfect, and this one is light enough that you can really work on it and build it up. So if you're new to bronzing and you're a little bit scared, you don't want to go overboard, this is a really great option because of what I just said. So yeah, the shade on this is really great. It builds really well, blends really easily, and it doesn't pull orange, which is the ultimate goal when trying to find a bronzer for fair skin. Next, I have a bronzer that is one of those classic products that everyone loves, and that is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer in the shade Light. So as the title suggests, this is a very this bronzer feels so buttery to touch, and it is a really beautiful formula. This one I think is actually lighter than the Rimmel Sun Shimmer Bronzer. Now this one also leaves a little bit of a sheen to the skin, nothing too dramatic, it just gives you a really nice healthy glow. This formula is also really buildable, but I do find if I go too far, it can pull a little bit orange, which I find a bit weird because as you can see, it's super light, and I don't know, when I look at that, I don't see orange. So just on my skin, it does pull a bit orange if I take it too far. But this bronzer is absolutely perfect when I'm just after a nice natural, you know, healthy looking skin kind of makeup look. Like I didn't apply a lot of bronzer, I'm just naturally brown. No one's ever gonna believe that. Who am I kidding? But you get what I mean. It just leaves a really nice natural finish. Now this one is also on the pricier end of the drugstore scale. I'm pretty sure it retails for like $30 or $35, and it is rarely in stock. So if you see it, snatch it up. And then the last bronzer I have to show you is by Model's Own, and this one is the Sculpt and Glow Matte Bronzing Powder in the shade Deep Tan 02. Now this bronzer actually comes in 2 shades. I'm pretty sure it's just 01 and 02. And I actually picked up 02 because 01 was pulling super orange when I swatched it, and I found 02 to be a bit more on the cool side. So as you can see, this is quite a dark bronzer, so do be careful and go in with a light hand. But if I'm after something a little bit more heavy, then this is a really great option. This one is a matte bronzer, and the formula is absolutely great. It feels really smooth and buttery to touch, and when you apply it to the skin, it just blends out really easily, and it also builds up well. Not that you really need to build it up a lot because it is quite a deep shade, but you know, if you're going all dramatic, this will do the job. And so just to show you how deep of a shade this is, I'm just going to compare it to the Butter Bronzer. So all those bronzers there are quite different, so depending on what you're after and you know what you like best, I'm sure that you can find one you like out of those options. So here are the bronzer swatches. First up, we have the bronzer from the Rimmel trio. This one here is the Rimmel Sun Shimmer Bronzer. This one is the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And here we have the Model's Own Bronzer. The next category, God. The next category on the list is blush, and I have a few to show you here. There is quite a similar pattern in the shades. I'm really into a corally, peachy blush like that. I really like that shade on me personally. Now, I'm not going to talk individually about these blushes. I'm just going to give you an overall feel of what I like and what I enjoy in a blush and why these ones are included. So as I said, I really enjoy a coral peachy toned blush, and I like my blushes to be not very pigmented. Because I am so fair, I like to just build up the color and go in with a light hand. When a blush is too pigmented and you put it on your cheeks and it's just like, shit, what have I done? What am I gonna do? How do I fix this? So these blushes that I have here are all very similar in the fact that they're not super pigmented and they just build up really nicely and work well for my skin tone. So the first blush is from the Rimmel and Kate trio. This one is a really nice coral shade and it is a matte formula. The next blushes are also from Rimmel, but they come from the little blush palette. So in here you've got a deep shimmery, almost burgundy shade. You've got a shimmery peachy pink in the middle, and then a matte kind of muted pink down the bottom. Now I really like this trio because you're kind of getting the best of everything. You've got the matte shade down the bottom, and then if you prefer something more shimmery, you can mix the two together or just use the shade in the middle. Now, I haven't actually used this deep shade up here. I'm a little bit scared, but you know, if you've got a night out and you want something a little bit more dramatic, this with a light hand could probably work. I'll have to give it a try sometime. Next is the Essence Matte Touch Blush in the shade Peach Me Up. Now these blushes are friggin' fantastic. They're about $5 and the formula is, oh, it's great. It feels so smooth and creamy to touch, and again, it just applies beautifully on the cheeks. The color is perfect and it's not too pigmented. I'm pretty sure this comes in a variety of shades as well, so if you're not really into this peachy coral, then you can get a different shade that you like. And then the last blush I have is by Maybelline, and it is from the Fit Me range, and this shade is just called Coral. Now this one does have a little bit of a sheen to it, nothing too shimmery and overpowering, but it does just leave a really nice fresh, natural glowy look to the skin. These blushes also come in a variety of shades, so you can pick one that suits you best, but I love this one. It's super light, like you do have to build it up quite a lot, but as I said, I enjoy that in a blush and I would prefer that over my blush being way too pigmented. Oh my god, has that big patch of lipstick been on my teeth the whole time? Oh well. So here are the blush swatches. The first one is from the Rimmel Kate trio with the bronzer. The next three swatches are from the Rimmel trio. You've got the matte, the shimmer, and then the deep burgundy. This swatch here is the Essence Matte Touch Blush. And this one here is the Maybelline Fit Me. The next category is highlighters, and this category is a little bit hit and miss when it comes to the drugstore, but I have a few here that I really love and I'm excited to show you. First up, I have one by Model's Own, and this is their Sculpt and Glow highlighter powder in the shade Peach Pearl 02. This would have to be the best highlighter that I have come across at Priceline. The formula is so creamy and so smooth. It just blends onto the skin so seamlessly and leaves a really, really beautiful glow. Now, if you watch my channel, you would probably know that the thing that annoys me about drugstore highlighters is they always feel chalky, and it's a no from me. They look chalky when you put them on the face, they don't blend into the skin, and I just don't like it. But this one here does not do that. As I said, it just looks gorgeous on the skin and it looks really natural and like it blends into the skin. You know what I'm saying? It is a pink toned highlighter, so I only like to go in with a little bit, and to be honest, a little bit is all you need because it is so pigmented. But if you do go a little bit heavier, it can look a bit too pink. But this is one that I definitely recommend. I would go swatch it and test it out if I were you because stunning. Next, I have one by L'Oreal, and this is the True Match Highlight in the shade Rosy Glow. And I really like this one because you get 3 different colors all in one. So you've got this white shade here, and then you've got the biggest section, which is a light pink, and then this small section down here, which is a little bit more of a deep pink. This highlighter is more of a subtle highlight, so really nice for a natural daily look. I personally just mix these 2 colors together. I don't really dip into the dark pink down here. It isn't as buttery as the Model's Own, but it still feels really nice and just leaves a beautiful, natural, subtle glow to the cheeks. L'Oreal is a bit more of an expensive brand at Priceline, so if you're going to pick this up, I would wait until they have a sale because why not? Everything's better on sale. And then next I have one that Arna actually suggested to me, and these are eyeshadows by Essence. So Essence actually has little empty palettes and you can buy the individual eyeshadows and create your own. So this shade I have here is called 10 Apricotta. It does have quite a white base, but then it's got that little apricot shift. It's really beautiful. So even though they are an eyeshadow, they actually work really beautifully as a highlighter because they're not this chunky, glittery formula. It's actually quite fine and smooth, so it just performs so well as a highlighter. There are quite a few light eyeshadow shades that can be used as highlighters. I think there are about 4 or 5 that you could get away with as highlighters, so I would definitely go into store. They do have testers of these, and go and swatch them and see which shade you like best. And to be honest, this is probably my favorite option when it comes to these highlighters from Priceline. And then the last powder highlight I'm going to talk about is again from the Rimmel and Kate trio. Now this one is the ultimate champagne. Okay, it is just, ooh, it's pretty. This color works so well for fair skin and it leaves a really nice natural glow. So overall, if you're after something a little bit more natural, I would go for the L'Oreal True Match or the highlighter from the Rimmel trio. If you want something a bit more poppin', then you're going to go for the Model's Own or any of the eyeshadows from Essence. I don't know, these can kind of be a bit of both. It depends how much you put on. You know what I mean? And then last of all for highlighters, if you like a liquid formula, I have this one here from Rimmel. It is the Insta Strobing Highlighter and it is in the shade Pink Glow. Now this can be used in many different ways. You can add it into your foundation if you want an all over glow. If you're after something natural, you can just use your sponge, dip it into the highlighter and then pop it on your face. It leaves a really nice natural glow. But if you want your highlight to be something extra, use this first, apply it using your sponge, and then go over the top with your powder highlighter, and it's going to make your highlighter like in your face. As the title suggests, this is super pink, so I wouldn't go in too heavy-handed, otherwise you will get that kind of pink cast on your face, but used with a light hand, it looks absolutely beautiful. Alright, so these are a little bit hard to see, but hopefully you get the gist. This one is the Model's Own highlighter. These three are separate swatches from the L'Oreal True Match. So you've got the white shade, the light pink, and then the deep pink. And then this here is all three shades mixed together. This shade here is the eyeshadow from Essence. And then here, it's a little bit hard to see, but this is the shade from the Rimmel Trio. And then this here is the liquid highlighter from Rimmel. Now, I just want to mention a few eyeshadows. These aren't really specific to fair skin, but they are really, really great options from Priceline. And look, you probably know what I'm going to talk about. It is the Australis Neutralize Eyeshadow Palette. When it comes to eyeshadows, I think I'm actually quite picky when it comes to affordable options. A lot of them feel really dry and chalky and they're quite patchy, but this palette here, oh my god, it is so good. First of all, this color palette. You see what I'm talking about here? All these warm neutrals. It is absolutely beautiful. The shimmers are super pigmented and the mattes blend out so easily. There is no patchiness. They're just great. I'm actually wearing it on my eyes today. I used this shade here and then this pink in the middle and a little bit of black. But if you're after an eyeshadow palette from the drugstore, I definitely recommend picking this one up. And then the next two eyeshadow products I'm going to talk about are also from Australis, and they are their Shimmer pigment pots. Now I have two. I've got the shade Nearly Naked and Bombshell Bronze. Oh my god. These pigments are amazing. So what I do is dip my brush into it and then spray it with some Fix Plus or any kind of setting spray, and they apply just so shimmery. They are really, really great. They have quite a range of colors as well to choose from. So if you're after something a little bit extra to pop on your eyelids, then I would definitely take a look at these. And then the last category I have to talk about today are some lip products, and I'm just going to show you a few of my favorite nudes because these can be a little bit difficult to find for fair skin. So two of the products I have are also from Australis. First up, I have the Color Inject lipstick in the shade Mumbo. This is quite similar to MAC Blankety. I think it's just a little more cool toned. As you can see, it's just a really nice pinky beige. It is literally such a great nude lipstick. The formula is super creamy as well, and it doesn't dry out your lips. And then next from Australis, I have their Girl Boss Demi Matte Lip Cream, and this is in the shade Empower. So this shade is quite similar to the lipstick. I think it just comes off a little bit more peachy. I don't know, I'm not really good at describing the colors, but this formula is everything. So it is a demi matte lip cream. It's really easy to apply and it does dry down, but not to a super uncomfortable matte feeling. It is just literally the perfect dry down. Like, I love this lipstick formula. So it's not just this nude shade you should get your hands on. Any shade in this collection I definitely recommend because the formula is great, but if you are after a nude lipstick, the shade Empower is perfect. I wear it literally all the time. And then the lipstick that I'm actually wearing today is by NYX, and this is the Love Out Loud liquid lipstick in the shade Confident. Now this one is a bit more light and peachy toned. So this one is also a liquid lipstick and it does dry down, but again, it doesn't dry down to an uncomfortable, dry, tight, disgusting feeling. When I first applied the shade, I was like, oh, it's a bit too light pink, but when it dries down, it gets a little darker. So it's a really, really great option, and yeah, I love it. And then when it comes to lip liners, I have one that is my go-to, and it is the Maybelline Color Sensational Lip Liner in the shade 105 Nude Whisper. Now this liner is the perfect match to MAC Blankety. Just putting it out there. So it is literally the perfect shade. I use this to line my lips for any nude lipstick that I wear. It is so great, it's so creamy, and I love it. The packaging is a wind up, so you don't have to sharpen it. I find that even though the tip is rounded, it is quite small, and because it's so creamy, it's just super easy to quickly line your lips. This is what it looks like swatched. As you can see, it does have a similar undertone to the first lipstick here, which is similar to MAC Blankety. So, all right, well, there you have it. The ultimate Priceline shopping guide for fair skin. If you enjoyed watching this video and enjoyed this collaboration with Arna, then be sure to give this video a thumbs up and make sure you leave me a comment down below letting me know what you think and if you enjoyed this video. If you have any other suggestions for products that are perfect for fair skin at Priceline, then make sure you leave me a comment because I need to know. I need to try them out, okay? Arna and I seriously love helping you guys find products that work for fair skin because it really can be a struggle. So we've tried to cover the drugstore market and the high-end market when it comes to Australian stores. So again, I really hoped this helped you out. So don't forget to go check out Arna's video. I will have that link down in the description box, and I will also have all the products that I mentioned listed. So if you need to reference back to that, you can. All right, well, if you aren't already, then please subscribe to my channel. I hope you are all having a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.